What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Nash here. Welcome back to the channel. Now before we get into today's video, guys, we are 29 subs away from 200. We're getting there, guys. We are getting there. We are drawing closer and closer to the goal of 200. And as I've said in previous videos, if this channel gets to 200 subs, I will open up this Korean Strike of Neos booster box in its entirety on the channel, on the hopes to potentially pull this guy, Elemental Hero Air Neos. If this channel gets to 500 subs, I will open up this Korean LOB booster box that I got for my partners over at Collector Store. So be sure to check them out. Link and address will be in the description below. On the hopes to potentially pull a Blue Eyes White Dragon, Dark Magician, Red Eyes Black Dragon, maybe even a piece of Exodia. Hell, for all we know, we could even pull all 5 for all we know. However, if this channel gets to 1,000 subs, I will open up this first edition Toon Chaos box in its entirety on the channel. Excuse me. That I also got from my partners at Collector Store, on the hopes to potentially pull my second ever Collector's Rare, because if you guys missed my Genesis Impact box opening, I pulled this. A Collector's Rare Beat Cop from the Underworld. Look how gorgeous that thing is. I know the lighting, the glare is like a bit shitty, but still, look at that. It's absolutely beautiful. The centering looks phenomenal. It is absolutely gorgeous. Slightly off, though. I just realized slightly off to the left, but still, it's pretty good. And I will be getting this graded at some point. I don't know when, but I'm planning to get it graded. So if you guys want to see those boxes get opened, maybe you guys want more episodes of WWE's biggest issue. Maybe you guys want more episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh's biggest issue. Card discussions, WWE topic videos, premium live event predictions and results, deck profiles. Maybe even some ban list predictions or reveals, as there's some trash on the floor, in the future. Well, if you guys want all of that and more, my channel is the place to be. So if you guys have not done so already, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button on this video, turn on the notification bell, subscribe to the channel, and be sure to follow me on all of my social media. My ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. Now for today's video, we have some brand new Zark support. Yeah, you heard me right. Zark has new support cards. I never would have imagined that we would be getting some new cards for Zark. Now, if you guys are not curious if you guys are not familiar with Zark, he was the one that I guess in a way used the 4 Dimension Dragons, which were basically Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, Starting Venom Fusion Dragon, I'm trying to think, Clear Wing Synchro Dragon, and Dark Rebellion Exceeds Dragon. Yeah, that was basically him. He became this evil being, and yeah, it wasn't pleasant. It was basically one whole version of the 4 dimension protagonists. Yuya, Yuri, Yugo, and Yuto, I believe are their names, and the heroines, I guess you could say the Yugi girls, if you will, were basically was basically 4 parts of one person. I don't remember her name though, but basically it's basically that. So again, I never would have imagined Zark would be getting support, but what I find so interesting is that a lot of the cards that excuse me, is that a lot of the cards that were in the archetype actually were splashed into various like pendulum decks and whatnot. Even Supreme King Darkworm was used in Dragon Links from several years ago, and now we have we've got new support for them. I'm looking at these cards and I'm just like, I'm just amazed by how far Konami. I'm just like amazed by how far Konami is willing to go to make new support cards for characters like Zark. You know, it's just weird. But I believe there are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 new cards to talk about in this video, so I'm just gonna go straight into it. Hopefully you guys are ready. If you guys are, again guys, subscribe, hit the bell, smash that thumbs up button, and post in the comments below the question, answering the question of the day, which is this. Which is this. And this question is only for those who have seen the Arc 5 anime. I'm curious, who is your favorite Arc 5 character, and what was your favorite deck from the whole series? Let me know down in the comments below, and why. I also want to know why as well, because I'm very curious. I'm very curious about your guys' comments, but let's get straight into it, guys. Kicking things off, we have Supreme King Gate Magician, which is a 7-star light spellcaster pendulum with 2500 attack, 2000 defense, and its pen scale. Does it not say? No, it doesn't. It legit does not say what its pen scale is. I have none of them say. Oh wow, that's horrible. That is horrible. Maybe on no, I doubt that. I doubt Nexus would have it, but I'm assuming its pen scale might be like. Might be a 5 or something, but with its pen effect, the second effect is a once per turn. The first effect reads: Supreme King Zark you control cannot be banished by your opponent's card effects. Second effect reads: during your main phase you can destroy this card. If you do, place 1 Supreme King Gate Pendulum monster from your hand or deck in your pendulum zone except this card. So again, so just with that effect alone, it's basically protection. It protects Zark from being banished by card effects, in which cards like Bottomless Trap Hole, cards like Dark Law and Dimensional Fissure, they don't work on they won't work on Zark because with cards like those, the effect is any card that's sent to the grave is banished instead. With this card, Zark is basically unaffected by that, and it would just go straight to the graveyard if it was a regular fusion, but because it's a pendulum fusion, it would go to the extra deck. So, but still, that's actually pretty cool. That's actually pretty cool that you can protect Zark from being banished, and not only that you can tag out Gate Magician for Supreme King Gate 0 right off the bat, which is absolutely nuts. However, its monster effect has however, both of its monster effects are once per turn. And the first effect reads, if you have a Supreme King Gate card other than this card in your Pendulum Zone, you can send one Pendulum Dragon, Xyz Dragon, Synchro Dragon, or Fusion Dragon monster from your hand or extract to the grave. And if you do, special summon this card from your hand. I swear, it's way too early for the fucking dogs to bark. I apologize, guys. I apologize. Disregard that. But anyway, guys, yeah. But anyway, it's a great way to... Anyway, it's a great way to, basically just Cyber Dragon the living hell out of this card, and just combo off from there, which is really nice. The second effect though reads if this card is special summoned, you can add one card that mentions Supreme King Zark from your deck to your hand, except a spellcaster monster. So basically, it's basically like a Stratos, basically, which is absolutely nuts. Not much else. Not much else to say about that. I'll deal with that. I'll deal with that here in a bit. Anyway, yeah. Again, barking dogs. I don't know what the hell. Anyway, again, it's basically Stratos. I've never worked with the Zark line before, so, but still, again, it's a Stratos. Not much else to say about that. Next up, we've got Supreme King Dragon Lightworm. We've had Darkworm before, but never Lightworm. But it's a 4-star Light Dragon Pendulum Tuner. That's kind of bizarre. 1200 attack, 1800 defense. The pen effect is... The Pendulum effect is a once per turn, and both of its monster effects are once per turn as well. The Pendulum effect reads, if a monster is special summoned and you control Zark, and another Pendulum monster, you can special summon this card, then you can choose one other Pendulum monster you control, and the attribute and level of that monster, or this card, become the attribute and level of the other. So, this is a good way... Excuse me. God. Sorry, guys. You guys know, there's always something caught my throat and it won't go down. But anyway, that being said, with this effect, this is a good way to help go into your synchro plays or into your Xyz plays, depending on what you want to summon. But not only that. Not only that, this effect is essentially a one-card Psychic and Punisher, because Psychic and Punisher is probably going to be one of the most broken cards in the Zark deck once we get these cards. Which, if you guys are curious about the set, this will be a part of the brand new upcoming core set, Age of Overlord. Which, when I heard of when I thought of Age of Overlord, one thing that came into my mind was potentially new support for, like, I don't know, like Dark World or something like that. But I never thought that the main archetype to get a new support would be this. I never would have imagined, but still, again, this effect, a one card Psychic, and Punisher. Not much else to say about that. The first monster effect reads, if this card is normal or special summon, you can add a face-up Supreme King Dragon or Supreme King Gate Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. Then, immediately after this effect resolves, you can synchro or exceed summon a Supreme King Dragon monster. That's actually pretty, again, that's actually pretty cool. But again, even if you didn't want to use that, the summon effect, you can still go into your Psychic and Punisher plays right there, which is actually pretty cool. The second monster effect is if a face-up Pendulum monster is destroyed by battle or card effect, while this card is face-up in your extra deck, add this card to your hand. Damn. So it can just loop itself over and over again, and you can just make a bunch of synchros, a bunch of Xyz monsters, and you're just off to the races from there. That's actually pretty cool. Next up, I believe this is the last. Yeah, this is the last monster of the set for the set. It is known as Supreme Celestial King Odd Eyes Arc Ray Dragon. That is quite the mouthful. And it is a 12-star Light Dragon Fusion Pendulum. Hold on a second, guys. Wow. Okay, that's so stupid. Okay, so Gate Magician and Dart and Lightworm don't have their pen scales posted, but Arcray Dragons is, and both of its attack and defense are 4,000, and Pendulum scale is 13. That's the highest I've ever seen. There's only been like maybe one or two others that have ever had a scale of 13. Never in history. There's like maybe been like maybe one or two. That's actually pretty cool. It requires 4 dragons: a Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, and Pendulum Dragon. And the Pendulum effect is a once per turn, and both of its monster effects are once per turn. And it says that this card is always treated as Supreme King Zark, and this face-down card in the extra deck must first be either fusion or special summoned by attributing a level 2 Dark Supreme King Zark. Or you can even also summon it the normal way, which is pretty cool. The Pendulum effect reads, if you have 2 cards in your Pendulum Zone, you can special summon this card, then you can shuffle 1 card from your Pendulum Zone into the deck. Then, if it returns to your extra deck, you can special summon it, ignoring its summoning condition. That's actually pretty nuts. Being able to just summon another body on board just by attacking this card out, that's actually pretty good. But the only downside though is that if you were to tag this card out for another body, the biggest issue is that you might end up losing tempo. That's like the biggest downfall for Pendulum monsters and for Pendulum based decks. Whether it was Pendulum Magician, Zark, Dragon Links, because I know that there are some Dragon Link decks out there that run a pretty nice Pendulum package, or even also DDDs as well, because they're a Pendulum based deck. You can oftentimes miss tempo. It just depends on what deck you're playing. With this, you could potentially lose tempo. The first monster effect reads, if this card is special summoned from the extra deck, you can place 1 Pendulum monster from your deck in your Pendulum Zone. Again, tempo. You gotta make sure you have tempo on board and you can push for game. This card, the first monster effect, basically ensures it, which is really cool. The second effect reads, if this card in the monster zone is destroyed, you can place it in your Pendulum Zone. So, again, basically basically, if you summon this card and you put it into the Pendulum Zone, you won't miss tempo, which is pretty cool. Not much else to say about that. There's a few other cards to talk about. My mom randomly called me, but I will deal with that in a second, in a little while. Anyway, we have how many cards left? We got 1, 2, 3, 4 more cards to talk about. So I'm just gonna really quickly go through them. And the first of the last 4 new cards is Pendulum Evolution, which is a continuous spell, and all 3 of its effects are once per turn. The first effect reads, you can shuffle 1 Pendulum monster from your hand into the deck, add 1 Pendulum monster with 2500 attack, and a different name from your deck to your hand. So this, again, this is sort of like a card trader of sorts, but it'll make you lose card advantage over your opponent, which is not something you want, actually. The second effect reads, if you special summon a face-down Pendulum monster from your extra deck this turn, you can activate this effect after it resolves. So Pendulum Summon, you can actually Pendulum Summon a monster or monsters. So basically, you would basically gain, not only would you gain board advantage over your opponent, but by using this card to Pendulum Summon a fuck ton of monsters, you're able to go into your plays, your synchro plays, your link plays, whatever you need to, and your board would just be completely stacked. What would be your board? Your board would probably look like I'll say Zark, Psychic and Punisher, maybe Zeus perhaps, and maybe what was that one? I can't think of that one. Abramax? No. Trying to think. Axico Talker, I think. Yeah. I think Axico Talker. That would basically be your board, which is pretty cool. The third effect reads, you can target 1 Supreme King Zark you control. It can attack all opponent's monsters once each this turn. That's actually pretty nuts. That right there could potentially clear out your opponent's whole board, and you basically just win. That's actually really cool. Next up, we've got the Light Winged Dragon, which is a quick play spell, and obviously it's once per turn, and the effect reads, during the main phase, add 1 Supreme King Dragon or Supreme King Gate Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand, or if you control Zark, you can special summon it instead. This is basically a quick play Rhoda. That's all it is. It's a quick play Rhoda. Search out any Supreme King Dragon or Gate to your hand, but if you have Zark on board, you basically get to treat it as sort of like a quick play like Cyber Dragon effect, where instead of where with Cyber Dragon it would be summoned out from the hand, but with this it gets summoned out from the deck, which is actually pretty insane. Next up, we've got Miracle of the Supreme King, which is a normal trap, and the effect is a once per turn, which reads, if you control Supreme King Zark, activate one of these effects. Destroy 1 Supreme King Zark you control, and if you do, special summon 1 Odd-Eyes Pendulum monster or a Light Supreme King Zark from your deck or extra deck, ignoring its summoning condition. This is actually again, this is a good way to basically just regain board presence if your opponent was able to push for game. If they were able to push for game, you can activate activate Miracle, activate this card, summon out Zark, and you're pretty much just off to the races from there. Place 1 Pendulum monster from your extra deck in your Pendulum Zone. Not much else to say about that. You're able to get a pretty nice Pendulum summon off of that card, so it's not bad. Set 1 quick play spell directly from your deck. What would be the quick play spell? None other than the Light Winged Dragon. That would probably be your best bet. that would probably be your best bet. But again, any one of these effects that you activate, you're gaining more board presence over your opponent, and it helps you push for game, which is actually pretty cool. The last card to talk about is Soul of the Supreme Celestial King, which is a normal trap, and it's a once per turn, which reads tribute one spellcaster pendulum monster with 2,500 original attack, fusion summon one Supreme King Zark from your extra deck by banishing the fusion materials listed on it from your hand, deck, extra deck, field, and or graveyard. But its effects are negated unless one each of your Pendulum Dragon, Exceed Dragon, Single Dragon, and Fusion Dragon monsters are currently banished. Again, this is basically a trap polymerization. There's not much else to say about that. I will say this: looking at these cards, it's very possible that Zark could potentially become the new meta. I believe this set in the TCG is supposed to be coming out sometime in the fall. Sometime in the fall, or perhaps even like early winter of this year. And I'm gonna be honest, this deck might just become the new meta once we go into next year, 2024. So guys, get ready. Zark might just be the new meta. But again, guys, question of the day: what is your favorite Arc 5 deck, and who's your favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 character, and why? Let me know down in the comments below, and that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more card discussions in the future, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, follow me on all of my social media. My ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.